Donald Fluit was born in 1962, in Los Angeles to parents James and Sharon Fluit. He has a younger brother named Dennis, to whom Don was very close. They were raised in California, but the family moved to New Mexico when Don and Dennis were in their early 20s. Even after moving out of their parents' house, the two brothers lived nearby to each other, and would continue to be close. Don got married at the age of 26 and had 2 kids. But the marriage didn't last long, and his ex-wife moved to Oklahoma along with their children. Still, Don tried to maintain a good relationship with his kids by visiting them as often as he could. By his late 30s, Don realized that he wanted to pursue a career in firefighting, and before long, he was part of Bernalillo County Fire Department. Soon after, Don met a woman named Christine White, who was his brother's neighbor in Albuquerque. Don and Christine got married after dating for a while, and even had a daughter together, whom they named Sienna. After being a firefighter for 8 years, Don was forced to retire. Christine became the sole wage earner for their family, and started managing their finances. This change started to strain their marriage, and eventually, they filed for a divorce. Don and Christine shared custody of their daughter. In 2016, Don Fluit was a retired fireman living in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Don was known to be a very kind man who really loved helping people. Even after his retirement, Don continued to help the needy any way he could. He set up food drives for the homeless, helped the disabled get jobs, among other charitable activities. He started something called Spaghetti Sunday, where he would cook food for the homeless every Sunday, which became a well-known charity event in his community. Don's daughter Sienna also got involved in the event, and it was something they bonded over. And Sienna grew closer to her father, in part, because of their shared activity. On the morning of December 29, 2016, Sienna tried reaching out to her father, but she just couldn't get through. This was unusual because Sienna would call Don over the phone almost every day without fail, and he'd normally let her know if he was busy. She called Don's co-workers, who couldn't reach him either. Now concerned, 2 of Don's co-workers decided to visit Don at his house to check up on him. When they arrived at Don's house, they found that the front door was left unlocked. After checking the entire house with no sign of Don, they went into the garage to see if his car was gone. And this is where they found Don's lifeless body, lying in front of the car. The co-workers immediately contacted the police. Don was beaten with a blunt object, was stabbed multiple times, and his throat was slit open. There was no sign of forced entry to the house. His phone and wallet were found on the countertop, so authorities ruled out robbery. The forensic team discovered an empty bleach bottle and some towels, soaked in bleach, in the washing machine. It looked like someone had cleaned up the place. Don's next-door neighbor had security cameras which happened to have a view of Don's front yard. Around 7:30 p.m. the previous night, Don was seen leaving in his truck with Sienna. He was on his way to drop her off at his ex-wife Christine's house. When asked, Christine confirmed that Don had indeed dropped off Sienna at around 7:45 p.m. But she said that Don mentioned something unusual. He said that he believed someone might have broken into his house recently. Don and Sienna had spent Christmas at Don's family house in California, so his home was empty for a long time. It is unclear why Don did not immediately call the police and report it, but maybe he planned to after dropping off his daughter, and he just never got the chance. The footage from Don's neighbor's camera revealed something else. As soon as Don was seen leaving his house with Sienna, a hooded person is seen walking to the garbage bin and tipping it over before heading inside Don's house. This person was not seen leaving the house. A while later, Don is seen pulling up into his driveway, and he noticed the bin tipped over, so he walks towards it and sets it up correctly. After which, Don was seen entering his house. Presumably, the unknown person was waiting for Don inside the house. Police questioned Don's family, friends and neighbors. And one of the people they interviewed was Christine's new husband, Terry White. It is important to note that Terry, Christine, and Don had gone to court over custody of Sienna recently. So when asked how Terry got along with Don, he said that it was a bit rocky in the beginning, but said that over time, they were civil with each other for the sake of Sienna. Additionally, Terry also had an alibi, which was later confirmed by the police. The other person of interest was Don's brother Dennis. Although they were very close growing up, the brothers had begun to drift apart over the years. There was some tension between the two after their father had died, who had apparently not divided up the family assets between the two brothers equally. Dennis admitted that he was angry with Don about the assets, but insisted that there was no ill will towards his brother, and that they had sorted things out. Dennis did, however, mention that Don's landlord Benny should be questioned, as he and Don were known to get into arguments. But when Benny was questioned, he denied having any arguments with Don, and instead pointed the finger back at Dennis, claiming that he has a criminal record for assault. Benny even said that Dennis tried to rent Don's house after his death, which according to him, seemed suspicious. While investigators thought Dennis may have seemed suspicious, they really had nothing on him, and decided that his behavior, while a bit odd to them, was really innocent. Police considered Terry White, Dennis Fluit, and Benny as possible suspects, but started shifting their focus towards Terry when they found out that his rock-solid alibi was starting to crack. They discovered that even though Terry did show up to work the night Don was killed, he was seen leaving soon after arriving. When questioned again, Terry's story changed, which raised even more suspicion. Though they had their doubts, the case could not proceed any further because all that the police had at the time were hunches to go on. It would be 3 whole months before a break in the case would be made. Police had taken DNA from all 3 suspects, and when the lab results came, they found that one of the suspects' DNA was found under Don's fingernails. It was Terry White's DNA. Police immediately issued an arrest warrant for Terry, and made a public statement announcing him as the perpetrator of the murder. But to their surprise, Terry was nowhere to be found. While they continued to search for Terry, police questioned Christine once again, but she denied any knowledge of her husband's crime. Skeptical of her, police decided to search Christine's house, and found Terry's will and his life insurance in her car's glove compartment. The police found this to be unusual. Less than a week later, on April 1, 2017, Terry was arrested at a truck stop in Holbrook, Arizona, and was charged with murder and tampering with evidence. But the most odd thing was that when Terry was found, it looked like he was trying to commit suicide. He was found lying in his car, with a pipe coming out from the exhaust and into the car through the window. Had it not been for his arrest, Terry would have likely died. After his arrest, Terry White refused to cooperate with the police, and continued to maintain his innocence. He said that he had nothing to do with Don's murder. At around the same time, Dennis Fluit received a message on Facebook from a stranger, who claimed that her boyfriend had shared a cell with Terry White in prison, and that Terry had confessed to her boyfriend about killing Don Fluit. According to the informant, Rod White, Terry had snuck into Don's garage while it was closing, and got into an argument with Don which turned into a fight. Terry allegedly struck Don with a blunt object, before using a steak knife from the kitchen to inflict severe stab wounds. Rod White revealed details about the murder which only the killer would have known. Terry had also confessed to Rod about why he committed the crime. According to Rod, Terry and Christine were not happy about the custody battle with Don over Sienna, and that Christine was the one who coaxed Terry into taking such a drastic measure. It seemed that Terry knew he would face the consequences for his crime, which is why he left a will and his life insurance with Christine before vanishing. He planned to make sure that his wife and stepdaughter would be taken care of after his death. At one point, investigators said Christine was the one who came up with the plot for Terry to kill himself in jail, so that she could cash in on his life insurance. In June of 2017, Christine was arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder. She would later be released under supervision, but by April of 2018, charges were dropped pending an investigation. And in June of 2018, Terry went on trial for the murder of Don Fluit, but denied committing the crime and refused to apologize to the Fluit family. The jury, however, did not agree, and Terry White was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison. Christine White is still not charged with anything. The allegations against her cannot be proven in court. She has since moved out of Albuquerque with her daughter Sienna. Don's brother Dennis, still claims that Christine was the mastermind behind the whole crime, and that justice will not be served until Christine is arrested and tried for her role in his brother's murder. Police say that it is still an open investigation, and that there is no statute of limitations on a first-degree murder charge. They continue to investigate Christine White and hope to find any admissible evidence to put her on trial. And that's the story so far. What are your thoughts on this case? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we hope you found our video interesting. Like, comment and subscribe for more fascinating unsolved mysteries.